Hey, what is up, rock and rollers? Today we are looking at the best tips for sniping in Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Oh! You got it.
My god! Oh, okay, so that's possible. 1,245 meters. So, without any shadow of doubt, anyone that is playing on Ghost Recon has been trying their hand at sniping. And whilst it is incredibly fun and satisfying to nail kills, it can be at times tricky to nail those ridiculous distances. We're going to be taking a look today at some basic tips and tricks to assist you in the 300 to 1 kilometer shots. And then in another video I'm going to be putting out in the next few days, we're going to take a look at how to go for those beast mode shots for those of you that want to get your stats up. So tip number 1. Find the sniper rifle that suits you and the kind of sniping that you want to achieve. Go with whatever you want, but in all fairness, for me, there are only 3 sniper rifles that are really worth their salt in this game. The HTI is an anti-material rifle that you will no doubt have heard of by now, and if you haven't, you need to sort yourself out. This thing can one-shot helicopters. If you're taking on a convoy, you hit that main vehicle twice, it is out for the count. The other sniper rifle that you might want to take a look at is the MSR. This is really good for those long-range sniping shots because it is just so accurate. It's also got the ability to have a 10-round magazine, so you can keep scoped in and zoomed in for a lot longer than you would with something like the HTI. Both of these can be found in Montoyuk and are really easy to get a hold of. The HTI, you can literally just sneak around the outside of a compound, jump into the armory and grab it. And the MSR is just inside of a tunnel located here. And again, really easy to get a hold of. I think there's about 6 guys you need to take out. And you can easily do it without actually getting spotted and without bringing down the heat on yourself. The other sniper rifle that I would personally recommend, this isn't going to be for everyone, but it's the SR25. It's a semi-auto and it's handy for those closer to medium range engagements. Certainly when you start getting into more jungle areas and thicker woodland, it's quite handy to be able to put a couple of rounds down just in case the first one misses. To help you find these weapons, if you go to the weapon screen, it actually shows you up here in the top right exactly which region it's in. And once you go to that region, after interrogating a few lieutenants or finding some intel, you should be able to find it very quickly. You'll need to get 2 sets of intel. The first one is always skill points. The second one is always equipment cases and then bonus medals and so on. Along with the sniper rifle, you're obviously going to need a scope. At this point, most people are going to already have a scope. But if you don't, the G28 is a nice scope with a red dot. This is good for if vehicles get too close and you want a sort of better field of view. Or alternatively, the most powerful scope in the game, the 6x magnification T5XI. That can be found here in Kawani, just inside of this section here. There's no enemies around here. It's really easy to get hold of. And I'm quite surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot harder to get hold of a scope that is going to be the most powerful in the game. I thought it would be inside of a really heavily guarded compound, but it's not. So make sure you head over there and grab that fairly soon on. Okay, so the next tip is going to be about ranging. In order to find the range of your target, there's a couple of things that you can do. If you're playing the game with the HUD on, simply by tagging the enemy and then hovering over them, it'll tell you the distance. For the purpose of this video, the majority of the footage in the background I've got the HUD on, but I have personally been playing the game mainly with no HUD on. It's all turned off. I'm in extreme difficulty. And it's just more immersive for me. I find that if you play this way, you have to pay more attention to your surroundings, and it just becomes a more interesting game. If you are one of those guys that's playing with no HUD, you will need to start using things like your binoculars. By using your binos, you can see the range at the bottom of the screen. This can be used to adjust your aim accordingly, or of course you can drone, but if you do and your drone is 200 meters forward of where you are, the range it will give won't be correct from where you will be shooting from. What I will do is I will put the drone up, find where enemies are, figure out exactly whereabouts they are, then use my binoculars, find the exact range from them to me, and then change over to the sniper rifle. For ridiculous distances, sometimes it can be beneficial to put the thermal on just because it gives a better line of sight. You can clearly see where their head is. Once you've got the range of your enemy, you obviously need to account for that by using the mil dots on your scope. Okay, so the mil dots is going to be sort of tip number 3. We'll have a look at that. We're going to go through exactly how they work. In real life, it's not quite like this. I mean, the principle is the same, but you would actually adjust your scope accordingly. In this game, you can't, so like most games, you're going to need to aim up or left and just adjust via the mil dots. All of these figures that you can see here on this picture are based on tests that I have conducted in the game. You'll be able to see like footage playing in the background, but working with the T5XI scope and the MSR rifle, these are the points on the scope that you want to use at each of the ranges shown. It may differ if you're using a different sniper rifle, but on the whole, it should be fairly similar. If you're 100 meters away from your target, you want to place the reticle here, directly on the cross. When shooting at enemies with a sniper, if the area around you is clear for 150 meters, you don't need a suppressor. Many people don't realize that the suppressor actually affects the damage, bullet travel time, and several other things. It can be really beneficial to actually take this thing off. As you can see from this clip, if you've got a suppressor on your gun, the bullet takes almost double the time to hit its target. If you're trying to get a moving target at range, this will greatly affect how much you need to lead your target. If you don't understand what I mean by leading your target, in plain English, it means how far you have to shoot in front of that person. For obvious reasons, if someone is moving from right to left and you place your crosshair on them, by the time the bullet gets to them, they will no longer be there and they will have moved off of that spot. Leading your target is shooting just in front of them, so by the time the bullet gets there, they have walked into it essentially. On the topic of leading a target, if someone is moving from the left to the right or right to the left and they're going across, they are not presenting themselves as the largest target. It can be quite inaccurate to shoot someone this way. If you're trying to take down patrols and you have the time, the best option is to line yourself up so that at one point they're moving either towards you or away from you. Their body will be square on, it will be a much larger target to be able to hit, and you don't have to lead the target. The chances of you missing are going to be a lot less by doing it this way. When it comes to leading, it's nearly always guesswork, and a general sort of roughly about here should be good, and sometimes it goes wrong. If it does, your sniper rifle 9 times out of 10 is going to take quite a while to, chamber another round and put another round down on target, and then by the time the bullet gets to them, they are long gone into cover. On a quick final note, the bullet characteristics in this game are very different to real life, and they are massively exaggerated. However, the in-game physics applies across assault rifles and snipers alike. If you're using an assault rifle with something like the digital scope, you can use several of the mil dots in a similar way as you would with the sniper rifle. If you have several enemies coming towards you and you don't have the opportunity to take your time, you need to put a lot of rounds down quickly, maybe switch to the ACR or your assault rifle that you've got, change it to single shot, and repeatedly tap fire. I found this to be a really effective way of handling several enemies in groups. What about you guys though? Have you hit any insane long shots? What are your best tips for sniping? Make sure to share them all down in the comments below. Hopefully this helps. If it does, please consider smashing that thumbs up button. If you don't already, make sure to subscribe for all things Rainbow Six or Ghost Recon. And until next time guys, stay reckless and relentless.